Warning, this is Jake's first walkthrough of Katawa Shoujo and is going down Emmy's route. Some contents may be inappropriate for kiddies.
Previously on Katawa Shoujo.
Oh, sorry, my classic hero classes right here. She's right here. Over bubbly laughingess. He's got scarf that is tall. His pretty girl is awesome. Let's not get here. Or is it? And let's play this. Who is dancing? Oh, she's blind. That's what I was thinking. It's you. I finally found you. When she runs, they just run away. Oh, yes, mass feminine conspiracy. And she's got no legs. And even though she is directly she seems to get along with everyone. On the other hand, Lily's also left on, seems to be just like men. Oh, no, opposites. She's eating her feet. That is stop. Like the third when you wake up, you know that you saw me like you're drinking care. Remember it? What's that even mean? And make it. Happy day. You're right. The difference between us like heaven and hell. Oh, snap, crackle, and pop. The question of the day. Did Hanako indeed? Was she truly looking for Lily? Or did she just come see me? And he rolls around with her eyes wide. She's up. No, I'm just dying. It's okay. Who's that Pokemon? And them eyes. Stop it. You can't worse with those eyes. Ah, what am I people? And me, I swear. What are you talking about? I'm curtains closed at all times for the sniper. You don't have to zero. Oh, we say a B word. Yeah, right. It was no legs. Oh, so we go hog time. Okay, yeah, sure. Oh, you hear me, Sai? You stop that right now. Since she said it. No. Dang it. Might have been this repetition. Hi. Not this right guy. It's really hard. We'll be doing that. Victory is ours. What? What? Not running. Witchcraft. Legs. Why? Illusion. Oh my God, again. Okay, no. What happened? Hey, maybe there's really something we do after all. Oh, you don't say. Oh, good. Now I feel twice nervous. That was true. I'm happy to hear that on the first one. Maybe we got some stuff after all. X4. Motion.
And our story concludes.
Hey, everybody out there. In YouTube land, Jake of the OneManBand is back again, playing Katawa Shoujo. We are in Act 4 now. Pretty sure it's the final act of Emmy's route. We've been in a emotional roller coaster the entire time, ever since we hit Act 2, pretty much. So, I think the only way we can go is up, but of course we're probably going to have some more down moments. But, enough of me talking, let's get to me reading. The morning sun is bright through my open window, and the sound of my alarm quickly has me up and about. I slept surprisingly well last night. Well, yeah, because you settled things. Secure in the knowledge that at least I've got another chance with Emmy. Yeah. If I can just keep myself from doing anything stupid, which we know he can't, maybe I'll find out what's been eating her recently. Hopefully not something bad. I have a few educated guesses, but nothing concrete. And certainly nothing that I'm going to say to her. I'd much prefer to have her tell me herself. Hello, Emmy. So nice to see you again. Emmy is waiting for me, as promised, looking a little haggard, but otherwise bright and cheerful. Much more than any previous day this week. Hishio, you're late. Or are you just early? I wave my hand dismissively. Nonsense, you're just early. That's what I said. That's what I said. Emmy grins back, and it feels like we're finally back to where we should be with one another. Except now Emmy, not just me, wants to take another step forward. Although a part of me worries that she'll back out at the last second. She better not, or else, you know, beatings. Hurry up and stretch, Hishio. I don't want to miss the bus. The bus? Yeah, the bus. I want to show you something, and I don't want to be late. Okay. She wants to show us something. Could be a trap. But we never get anywhere in life by saying no, do we? Well, we do, but you get what I mean. I try not to grin too wide. I'm happy beyond words that Emmy wants to hang out after the run at all. But her promise of showing me something has me even more intrigued. Is this what she had to think about? I wonder just what she's planning to do. I quickly... Ooh, she's ready, she's ready. She even has the tongue thing going on. I quickly go through my warm-up routine while Emmy bounces impatiently on one foot, from one foot to the other. She really does seem to want to get moving as soon as possible. The run is over so quickly I can barely believe that I haven't fallen over dead afterwards. Emmy set a blistering pace, and I, in my foolishness, keep up with her. Why would you do that? She's gonna go show us something. Why would you put yourself in that kind of danger? Well, until the last few laps. I had to slow down just in case, but I don't mind. And Emmy's waiting patiently for me when I finish. As patiently as she can wait, anyway. Finished? Good, come on! She get right up in our faces. Finished? Yay! Grabbing my arm, she practically rushes me down to the nurse's office. Wow. This is kind of... This is weird. You seem in a hurry, trying to catch the early bus. Yeah, I told Mom I'd be back for lunch. Well, I'll take care of you first then. But Hishio's gonna come with me too. Then the nurse raises a single eyebrow at this statement and peers at the two of us searchingly. Really? Today? Great, now he knows something. He's in on the trap. Emmy's response is a nod, followed by a surprisingly shy grin. Well then, we'll make this quick. Emmy enters the nurse's office, and I patiently wait outside for her to be finished, wondering just why the nurse seems to be surprised by Emmy's declaration. I feel like I'm missing out on some joke or the significance of today, beyond the fact that it is clearly significant in some way, of course. True to his word, the nurse has Emmy out of his office surprisingly quickly, and I take her place after promising to meet her up at the front gate. The nurse takes my pulse and listens for a bit. Your heartbeat's faster than usual. Been pushing yourself again, haven't you? Not in the bad way, okay? I'm not dead yet. Well, Emmy seemed in a rush to get through the run, so... I'm not surprised. Today's rather important to her, you know? No, is it like her birthday? Or is it something else? All you people watching who, like, know what's coming up, you're probably all like... I'm sorry. I'm surprised... I suspected that could be the case, but I have no idea what's the case. She hasn't told you? Interesting. So, yeah. So, you're not gonna tell me either, then? Nope, I'm not. I suspect that Emmy has her own plan for explaining today to you, and I don't want to miss that. You'll find out soon enough, so what's the rush? Now, as for your heart, I would take it easy the rest of the day. No spontaneous races or anything like that. Got it? Got it. She won't have her running legs on it anyway. No, but if you think something like that is going to stop her, good point, that wouldn't stop her at all. I don't think there'll be much of an issue today, of all days, but still. Maybe today's the day she got her first prosthetics? Oh, sorry, I thought I saw something in the background. If he's trying to reassure me, he's doing a terrible job. I'm quickly becoming more and more worried about what today could be, for, like, suddenly finding out Emmy is in a cult or something. Psychic spy. At the same time, if today is such a big deal and Emmy wants me to be with her for it, then maybe she really does want to grow closer to me. Maybe this will be the answer for all the riddles, to the sleepless nights and the sun and moon swings. Maybe it's the anniversary of her accident. Maybe. I don't know. There's only one way to find out. Either way, I barely remember to thank the nurse before taking off as quickly as I dare for my room, to get a shower and throw on some decent-looking clothes. If today is as important as it seems, I should dress appropriately. And don't forget to brush your teeth, too. That's always a win. Emmy, of course, proves me wrong as soon as I reach the front gate, wearing her usual shirt and shorts. So, at least I know it's not a terribly formal affair, whatever it is. You're early, Hishio. The Hishio is never late. Well, he was kind of late, and now he is early. When will he arrive precisely when he means to? Not as early as you. Eager, are we? Emmy cheekingly pokes out her tongue. The bus stop isn't very crowded at this hour, which seems to please Emmy, and we end up relaxing a little as we wait. We sit in silence for a while, but I can tell that Emmy's trying to work herself up to say something. That awkward moment where you're just like, kind of shifting in your chair. I don't have anything to say myself, so I sit waiting for her to talk. It doesn't take too long. So, I'm sure you're curious as to why the nurse thought it was so weird for me to be bringing you along today. Yeah, and the audience is too. I was a bit, yes, but if you're not ready to tell me... Emmy stops my sentence by placing her finger on my lip. Shh! Don't speak. Don't tempt me, Hishio. I want to tell you this, but I'm just uncertain as to how to go about it. I don't want to keep delaying or deferring. I just want to be able to say it. So say it. You know that it's not going to be that easy for me, Hishio. So treat it like running. Warm up to it like something small and easy, and then go from there. But don't do it too fast, okay? I'm a patient man. I can wait for you to get it. Emmy seems to consider my words, weighing them against what is probably a desire to get it over with. I will admit, as much as I keep telling Emmy to take her time, I wouldn't mind her getting it over with either. It's like the Monty Python guy is, get on with it! Holy Grail, you know. Watch the movie! But somehow I know that Emmy's probably needs more time than the bus ride will provide to get it all out, whatever it is. Yeah, maybe you're right. The bus stop probably isn't the best place for this anyway, but just to make sure that I don't go back on my word, I'll at least say this. She takes a deep breath and lets it out, and after a moment says in a low voice, alright, here it is, guys. Here it is. We're going to see my dad today. Gonna go see Papa. The word hangs in the air, and I can see that Emmy's afraid that I'll panic and disappear in response, but a part of me is almost wants to do. But it would be stupid of me to back out or to suddenly abandon the promise I made to her there for when Emmy needs me. I need water. I'm dying. The nurse thought it was so weird of her to bring me along. She doesn't bring anyone along, or at least I'm willing to bet that she hasn't before today. Okay, so something's important to do with today, her father, stuff. I really don't want to think about it. I got an idea, but I'd rather just get to it. The day seems to take on an even greater significance. What has it taken Emmy to even get this far? And why is that the best I can manage for a response? Because you're an idiot. That's why. Yeah? I don't know what to say. Nothing, I think. Just promise that you're going to come with me. Of course, you know I will, girl. Emmy smiles wanly, looking a little relieved. Good. In that case, we'd better get going. And the bus pulls up right at that moment. The bus pulls up just a little after she finishes the sentence. Alrighty, so we're in town. Vague memories of my first trip out here comes to mind as I step off the bus, but unfortunately, they're too vague to be of any use. I will be the first to admit that I don't quite recall how to get to Emmy's house, so I left her to lead the way. She seems content to walk in silence, and I myself have no idea what I could possibly say. So the two of us arrive at her house, having said nothing since getting off the bus. Hi, Emmy's mom. Emmy's mother opens the door and doesn't seem surprised to see me standing next to her daughter. I expect that Emmy would have phoned ahead to let her mother know if of the change in plans. Emmy, Hishio! You're just in time. Lunch is about ready. Great, I was afraid we might be running late. Man, we never late. We're always early. Except when we're late. In which case we're late for being early. As fast as you are going this morning, I doubt was much of a chance of that. I certainly hope she wasn't too much of a bother, Hishio. She tends to get a little paranoid about being on time when food's involved. I hadn't noticed. This earns me a swat on the arm from Emmy, who, despite the seriousness nature of our conversation on the bus and the almost brooding quiet walk, has quickly become cheerful again. Probably to keep her mother from worrying about whether it is Emmy plans to tell me later. Mrs. Irabazaki ushers us in, and in short order we're all around the table devouring lunch. I haven't realized how hungry I was until I got here, and for once I seem to be eating almost as much as Emmy. High metabolism keeps you going. Goodness, it's a good thing I made so much. The two of you are acting like you haven't eaten in days. Well, we're never really seen eating in the gameplay. I skipped breakfast this morning. Me too. Had to catch the bus, I assume. And I figured you'd make too much food, so I wouldn't matter if I skipped breakfast. That was a lot to put on a hunch. Well, it's good to know that I'm predictable. Emmy nods enthusiastically. The conversation falls off again, and we are very nearly clear. As we very nearly clear the table of anything edible. It is a testament to the sheer amount of food on offer that we don't finish everything. I lean back in my chair with a sigh and thank Mrs. Irabazaki for the food. I'm glad you liked it, Hishio. Now, has Emmy told you where we're going? Yeah, sort of. So, is it far from here? Not really, but we'll drive there to save time. It closes kind of early. So it closes early. Yes. What place closes early? Cell phone shops. I don't know. I nod in assent and stand by, ready to go. Well then, shall we? Mrs. Irabazaki nods and leaves the room to grab her keys. Emmy, I notice, has started to fidget nervously. Second thoughts? Emmy smiles tightly at me and shrugs. She's fallen silent again, which probably means that I'm right, and she is starting to regret bringing me along. Not that I blame her, she does such a good job of shutting me out that I doubt it's easy to suddenly open up. Honestly, I'm worried that she's forcing it. But she said while waiting for the bus that I'm not supposed to give her a chance to back out. And since I promised to go with her anyway, I suppose there's not much of a choice. I can't go back on my promise, and she can't go back on hers. I just hope that both of us are up to it. Of course you are. We're off! Emmy's mother blows through the dining room, collects the two of us, and heads out the door at a brisk pace. Now I know where her daughter gets it from. Cemetery. I was right. My thoughts were right. Unless her dad's a groundskeeper, I think he's dead. But let's keep going. Let's keep going. The car pulls up at the cemetery gates, and I feel Emmy tense up beside me. I reach over and give her hand a comforting squeeze, which causes her to relax a little. Emmy's mother doesn't follow us, explaining that she prefers to visit the grave alone. Yeah, I guess her dad's dead. Emmy steps through the gates and looks back as if to make sure I'm still there. We step into the cemetery. I don't feel comfortable in cemeteries. Gravestones litter the ground, each one serving as a reminder that someone used to be alive and is no longer. Now, I don't think anybody really feels comfortable in graveyards. How many died young? How many were as old as I am now? When do I wind up with a marker of my own? How much longer do I have left? Don't think about that. Don't think about that. You know you're gonna die eventually. Just live your life. You know, don't live in fear of death. The concept of not man, I can't even read properly because we're in a graveyard now. The concept of not waking up, not seeing Emmy anymore, is not a happy one. It frightens me, and Barry nearly turns me around to exit right then and there. Wow. Pansy. I don't want to go among dead people. They're dead. They don't really have feelings anymore. But you should respect the dead. You should definitely do that. I don't want to see their stones and think about who they were and what they could have been if they'd only had more time. Well, you see, you're supposed to do that. That way you're remembering them, and that's how you respect the dead. You remember them. Then I look at the girl next to me, and my resolve returns. Emmy standing striding purposefully down the path, eyes clear, setting a pace that is nearly a jog. The sooner we get there, I suspect she thinks the better. We're here. And there it is. A gravestone, wholly unremarkable, and everything except the name etched upon it. The grave has grown, the grass has grown up around the base. Emmy's eyes are reverted to the stone. After a few moments, she turns around, looking surprisingly calm, yet solemn. Pink's not actually my favorite color, you know. No. What? I'm warming up to it. People tend to think that pink's my favorite color. I wouldn't think so. I think it's because I like strawberries. Well, strawberries are red! And even though those are red, they just assume that pink's the right color for strawberries. I think if they're pink, then they're kind of not ripe yet, and that's my favorite color. But it's not. I'm too polite to tell anyone otherwise, of course, and it's not the kind of thing worth getting worried about. But I'll bet even though pink was my favorite color, blue, that's my favorite color. My mom and dad are the only two who know that, and now you do too. Thanks for telling me, I think. You're welcome. There's a pause as she considers what to say next, drawing a quick breath. I correct people on what my favorite color is. It's green. I can't carry a tune to save my life. I can hum, but actually singing a song is something I've never been able to do. I don't mind, because I'm not a fan of karaoke anyway. Oh, and I was going to take you to a karaoke bar after this. There goes my idea! Well, that's one potential date idea out the window. I should write for this thing! People all think that I'm really popular and a friendly person, but I only have a few close friends, probably because I keep everyone in the dark, yeah, and you're telling them that pink's your favorite color. And I think it's also because I hate the idea of losing a close friend. There aren't many people worth the risk. I'm terrible at saying goodbye. I sometimes think that I only run because it's what I used to do with my father. You're not actually my first boyfriend. But you said no, wait. She said I was the first that she brought home. Wow, this is new. I dated a guy for a long while during my second year at Yamaku. But in the end, we broke up because I didn't want to get closer to him. He couldn't live with that distance between us. Her rate of speaking increases slightly, as if she's dressing towards the finish line. I'm actually 1 year older than you. Everybody thinks I'm younger because I'm short. Yeah, that's a common blunder. But I had to skip 1 year because of my accident. Very initially, though, I was paralyzed when they pulled me out of the wreckage. I'd lost my legs already, but they were afraid that I wouldn't even be able to use what was left of them. Wow. So they were like crushed and like completely severed? After surgery, it was clear that their initial attempts was mistaken. Initial assessment was mistaken. I couldn't feel my legs because of the shock. Short-term paralysis due to other trauma I'd experienced. My recovery was one of the fastest they'd ever seen, or so they told me. I never found out if they were serious about that or if they told me that all their patients learning to walk again. She pauses, gathering herself for one last effort. 8 years ago today, I lost my legs, and I lost my father as well. I'll tell you right now, I don't cry, but it's trying. It's trying right now. He died on the way... It's trying really hard now. He died on the way to the hospital. I didn't even get to go to the gravesite until 2 months later. I couldn't attend his funeral. Don't be sorry. That's what everyone always says, that they're sorry. I hate hearing that. Like everyone could have done anything to change what happened. You know, the best piece of advice I got, these things happen. I don't even remember who said it, but I guess they didn't have anything better to say. Yeah. Things do happen. We just gotta keep moving forward. But it's true, you know? These things happen, and there's nothing you can do about it. They aren't necessarily planned, and they aren't always bad, and they aren't always good, but they are. So I made the decision that I would live without worrying about the future. And to be sure that I never had to say goodbye again, I decided I wouldn't let people get close to me anymore. After all, they could be taken away at any time, and you know what? She laughs, a little bitterly. Her eyes start to well up with tears, and I step forward to embrace her, but she holds up a hand and stops me. I'm not finished! A deep breath, and she continues. It worked pretty well, until I met you. And I saw that you were trying to adjust to stuff here, so I thought I'd help. And then you were so nice that I couldn't help it. And there it is. And there it is. The tears are flowing now, and she accepts the embrace with time. The rest of her sentence is mumbled into my chest. I try not to fall for you, but I did. And then I tried to keep you at a distance, like with my first boyfriend, but I couldn't. But we've been so scared because I don't want to lose you, and I might anyway. Hey, I'm still around, right? And maybe I won't be forever. But don't you think it'll be fun while it lasts? Neither of us could survive the day. There could be a bus crash or something. But so long as I know that I've been with you, I don't think it matters. Some thought strikes me, and I can't help laughing. My condition had me scared of dying so badly that I immediately seized the opportunity Emmy presented to improve my odds of living longer. But without Emmy, would there have been any motivation to keep up with my running? It hits me that Emmy is the reason I want to go running every day. Didn't we do that since like forever ago? So I can spend as much time with her as possible. Emmy looks up at me confused. We'll go on living until we stop. And then we stop living, we'll be able to know that at least we've had time together and that I wouldn't have it any other way. Besides, and he uses the L word, I love you, Emmy. And right now, that's enough for me. Emmy smiles through her tears and steps back from me. You know what's funny? What is? I thought that the best way to live in the moment was to do it alone. No! No, it's lonely alone. But now I don't think I have... But now I don't think I'd have it any other way either. I'm glad I met you, Hishio. Well, these things happen. Emmy and I stay by the grave for a while as Emmy pays her respects to her father. When she's ready to go, we exit the graveyard side by side. Emmy's mother drives us back to Yamaku. The trip back is very quiet. We wave goodbye as the car drives off, and I glance down at the girl leaning into my arm. How are you feeling? Emmy shrugs, non-commentally. I'll be fine. Come on, let's go. We pause outside the girls' dorm, and I turn to face Emmy, ready to say goodbye. Today was a good day. And by good, I mean opening up. Bad as in, we learned a very sad thing, but if we've learned anything from today, it's those things that make us stronger and make us better. Why don't you come up for a while? Okay. I walk up to her room in silence. I'm not sure why I'd suppose I'd be turned away at the door. I guess I just assumed she'd want to be alone. Her mom, the nurse, hell, everyone who knew the significance of today seemed to think it best to leave Emmy alone. But she took me into the graveyard with her. She told me the whole story of what happened on the day she lost her legs. Well, why didn't we hear that story? Like the whole story. She wanted me around. The significance of this does not escape me. Emmy opens the door and steps into her room, not even bothering to invite me in, holding the door for me expectantly. I step in, and the door swings shut beside me. Okay, one of two things will happen. I really hope it's not the second one. Hey, can I ask you a favor? Sure, can't guarantee I'll do it, but... Emmy giggles and pulls me into a kiss, and starts out soft, but deepens into something more almost desperate. She's sucking your soul out. Stay with me, please. Her voice has dropped to a whisper. The question is barely audible over the sound of my own breathing. There's something about the way that she asked the question, the hastency in it, the quiet voice, that makes me think she doesn't mean tonight. Like forever? Like marriage forever? Yay! Good things! No, she means exactly what she said. Stay with me. Not tonight, or forever, but both of us know that there's no such thing as forever. Well, until the end, you know. And then there's heaven, you know. Good stuff. There's no time limit to her request. There's just the request. A favor. The favor. Can I do that? Can I stay with her? Do we get to make a decision? Because I'm pretty sure I know what the decision would be. Oh, no. It's scripted. Of course. We embrace again, Emmy guiding me towards her. Yeah, stuff. Stepping backwards with care until she sits down on the edge. Yeah, we're back to this. She's gotten my shirt off at this point, and I've surprisingly lifted hers over her head. Bra and all, her shorts come off just as quickly. With practice, yeah, because they did this like 40,000 times. With practiced ease, she removes her legs and pulls me onto the side of the bed with my hand coming around her smooth shoulder. Now, when it came to the part removes her legs, I almost didn't understand. She has prosthetic legs. I cast my gaze over her face, down her neck, following the line to the swell of her breastises before I lower my head, planting a kiss across her chest, listening to her breath hitch as her hand slides further and further down my chest, touching my sexy chest scar. As I work my way back up her neck, I can feel my hands working at my belt, now fumbling slightly with the buckle. Oh, those dang buckles! Now unbuttoning, now unzipping, until my pants fall to the floor. Her panties are noticeably darkened in the right place, showing that my earlier What? What? I don't understand that! Tell me what that means! I stepped back quickly and shook my boxers. Shuck. Like shuck a corn? That is a weird word to use there. And moved back in as Emmy reaches over into a drawer on her nightstand, removing a small Oh! Yeah, that is one question I guess she's been providing. Okay. She tears it open, and with a quick jerk of her teeth. Oh, great. Using the teeth now can be broken. And reaches down and replies, the protector, which always causes me to gasp a little. Her expression suddenly changes and she takes the view of me in. Ugh, that face! She means business. Wait a second. Are you still in your socks? I pause and look down. Apparently, I am. Yeah, does that matter? Take them off. It's weird if you have them on. Okay. One thing to take away from this. Take off your socks, boys. You know, you've got your socks on, too. Yeah, but I don't have my legs, moron! So it doesn't count. Unable to deny her logic, I impatiently... and impatient to have the conversation over again, I quickly remove the offending items. I'm so eager to get back to Emmy that I practically jump on top of her, pushing her down playfully. Hopefully Rin doesn't interrupt this time. Yes! Emmy giggles and squirm. Emmy's giggling and squirming quickly ends, replaced with a happy sigh. Yeah, don't want to read this stuff. Yeah, so... Is that milk? Or lotion? Lotion milk. Milk lotion! Okay. Her breath is in my ear and I begin moving, whispering words of encouragement, nipping at her neck, now at my mouth. Wow, vampire. Hit the edge of the mattress, shaking the bed. Part of my brain briefly wonders if I should try to be succumbing to the tenses, and as she grows closer to the edge and our bodies both begin to glisten with the sweat, time begins to become hazy. And then we just lose track of everything. She cries out, digging into my back. Ah! Ah, pain! Gallic gunfire! Okay, that's done. If you guys wish to read that, go back and pause it, or play the game for yourself. Pervs. I know what you're thinking, but you're playing the game. Well, stuff. Doesn't mean I like it anymore. It's just there. I collapse next to Emmy, who almost immediately curls up against me, smiling. Mentally, I feel grateful that Emmy kept her nails short, otherwise I think she might have drawn blood. I sit up briefly to dispose of the now-used condom and lay back down next to Emmy, who, in turn, taking care of cleaning herself off. For a while, we lay in silence, savoring the feeling of being next to one another. Emmy is the first to speak. Hey, Hishio. This is my side of the bed now. Thanks for coming with me today. I smile and plant a kiss on her head. Of course. My pleasure. Emmy snuggles closer and I can feel her breathing begin to slacken as she begins to drift off to sleep. No bad dreams tonight. Just as she's about to fall asleep, she wakes up enough to mutter a single sentence. I love you. And she's out like a light, leaving me feeling like I'm on top of the world. I draw the slumbering Emmy as close as possible, pull the covers over us to keep the chill off, and fall asleep as happy as I've ever been. Time skip! The morning light seems to reach further into Emmy's room that it does into mine. The result in my waking up early than I would have if I had gone back to my room last night, as had previously been our routine. I did not realize it until this morning that this is the first time we've actually spent the night together. A small moment of my partner's still slumbering form causing me to look to the side. Oh yeah, it did happen. It's not a dream. Hair sprawled across her face. Emmy continues to sleep, peacefully curled up next to me. It's slightly weird seeing her without her trademark twin tails, but it's also a look I could get used to. The small size of the beds here necessitates her curling up, but I'm pretty sure she would have done so anyway. The covers are nearly over her head, and I smile as an arrogant strand of hair causes her nose to twitch slightly. Unable to help myself, I draw her a little closer, a move which seemed to think is a good idea. Her steady breath rises a trail of goosebumps on my chest, but I don't mind. I am no longer tired, but I do not feel any need to move from my current position. Emmy's warm body, in response against mine, is far too comfortable to move. I gaze up at the ceiling to consider how it is that we got to this point. We've been close for a while, but not this close. Intimate. It seems like only yesterday that she ran into me in the hallway, and after apologizing, decided to take an interest in my well-being. Yeah, I remember those days when things were simpler, but that grew into something else, which I at least was not expecting. One thing is for certain. Having found Emmy, I will try as hard as I can not to lose her. My morning musing is interrupted by further movement from Emmy. Her eyes flutter open and she seems briefly confused by my presence. What are you doing? Oh yeah! In her bed, as well as her current state of dress, which is, non-existent. Hi girl! Nice bunny. Then she smiles happily and sits up, her face looking down at me. Good morning, Hishio. It's 8:10. Lotion. Hi. Sleep well? Yeah, I did. Exhausting day yesterday, you know. I think back over yesterday's trip to the graveyard. Yeah, glad to hear you slept well. How'd you sleep? Well enough, although you kept hogging the covers. This earns me a shove and a stuck-out tongue. I chuckle, and Emmy giggles a little, and we fall quiet for a while. I soak up the feeling of how right it all seems. Waking up with Emmy by me, crammed into a bed made for one person. It's something I could get used to. Hey, Hishio. Thanks for sticking around. No problem. Saved me the walk back anyway, right? Always the kidder we are. This draws another giggle, but Emmy's expression turns serious again. No, really. I keep trying to push you away because I thought that was the right thing to do, but you stuck around through it all. I haven't made any of this easy for you, but you stuck it out anyway. So really, I mean it. Thank you. She punctuates this by giving me a kiss, pulling back and looking at me with an expression of affection. I reach up and ruffle her hair, smiling all the way. I am stupidly lucky I think, to have come through everything after my heart attack, and to somehow have found this girl is nothing short of a miracle. Miracles do happen, ladies and gentlemen. You're welcome, Emmy. I couldn't bear the thought of giving up on you. Giving you up. It's kind of the same. I'll even continue to stick around if you want. I'd like that. That settles it then. Marriage, put a ring on her finger, we go to the church today! I don't know how long my heart will keep working, and I don't even really know what I'll do after this year is over. Apparently, apart from going to university. As long as Emmy's around, I think I'll be okay. I've managed to help her, and she's managed to help me. If we keep doing that, we'll be okay, I think. So, Hishio. What do you want to do today? Well, I know what we're gonna do today. We're gonna build a rocket or fight a mummy or something. We've made it. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, people of all ages, anybody who was crazy enough to watch this, we have made it to the end. It's crazy. It's the strangest feeling that we're finally here at the end of Katawa Shoujo. It's been a real trip. I mean, there were good times, there were bad, there were weird times in this. But I think through it all, the story that it tells is a real sincere one. I mean, don't you think? Now, I know it has, like, sex and stuff like that, and I don't really agree with that kind of thing, sex before marriage, but it was still a very enduring story. Very good, very nice. I loved it. It was amazing. But I think with this, I'll have to end the episode here. End the series here. So, like and favorite if you've enjoyed. Subscribe, of course. New stuff's gonna be coming out. If you guys really want me to, I honestly wouldn't mind taking another shot at this, going down someone else's route. But if you guys think I should just keep it at this, it's totally alright, because it's great. Still, go to the website, download it for yourself. It's a great story, to be honest, for sure. Enough of me rambling. I'll see you guys next time out there in YouTube land. I'll see you then. Yeah!